think some Spurs fans are sleeping on just how good Zach Collins has been since he's become a starter for our San Antonio Spurs.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Zach Collins is finally injury-free and playing the best basketball of his career right now. The 25-year-old has 1 year left on his contract worth $7 million. My question to you, Spurs fans, drop a comment down below. Should our Spurs sign Zach Collins to a long-term contract? Hit that thumbs up like support fellow Spurs fans and subscribe for more Spurs content. You know what? There's going to be a lot of Spurs content coming to a YouTube near you. Anyway, let's get into Zach Collins. By the way, I think the Spurs should sign him long-term. 4 years. If we can get him for like $50 million, I think that's going to be a bargain. Anyway, Zach, take a look at his season as a whole. He's played 58 games for the Spurs, shooting over 50% from the field, shooting just under 40% from beyond the arc. He's actually become one of our better three-point shooters. Decent amount of rebounds and assists for the limited amount of minutes he had, and 11 points per game. But probably my biggest knock on Zach Collins' game is he can get a little turnover prone at times, and can let his emotions get the better of him and maybe get teed up or start getting into it with another team. That being said, you need that guy that's going to be out there that when somebody on your team gets bullied, he's not going to back down and he's going to have his teammates back, and he's that guy to go out there and kind of do the dirty work for the Spurs. So anyway, this has been his season as a whole. When you look at these numbers, Spurs fans, you're probably like, all right, TSR, he's doing well. But we have to kind of isolate his statistics. As we always do, we got to dig a little deeper into when he started becoming a starter for our Spurs. That was after the Pirtle trade. And since the Pirtle trade, he's played in 14 games, getting just under 30 minutes, shooting under just 50%. And it should be noted, there's an abysmal game that's part of these stats against the Utah Jazz where he went 2 of 15 from the field. So take these stats a little bit with a grain of salt. But he is shooting 42% from beyond the arc, about 87% from the line, giving us a solid 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 16.5 points per game. As a starter, that's pretty darn good. Is that an upgrade over Pirtle? I don't know. We're actually going to circle back around to that in just a moment. But since that 2 for 15 game, Zach has actually upped his game even more. In the last 7 games, still playing 30 minutes a game, but he's shooting 54% from the field, 50% from beyond the arc. We've been looking for a stretch 5, not looking, but some Spurs fans have really been wanting a stretch 5, somebody can just spread the floor a bit. Well, he was doing that. He's been launching threes at will lately, and he's been hitting them. He's been just crushing his free throws at 95%, still giving us 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Really the only blemish on here, those 3 turnovers. I like to see Zach clean up the turnovers a little bit. Sometimes he can get a little loosey-goosey with the ball, or moving on picks and getting called for an offensive foul, which, of course, then turns the ball over. But he is also averaging 19 points per game. He's exceeded my expectations as a starter by a mile, and I'm really I'm happy for him too. For a guy whose career has just been derailed with so many injuries, I'm glad to see him staying healthy and performing. Now, I mentioned Pirtle a little bit. We're going to compare these two since the trade, and one thing we have to take a little bit of grain of salt. Pirtle's a little older, 27, Zach's 25, but Jakob has also played much more than Zach Collins. How much more has he? Well, in his career, Zach Collins, at the time of this video, don't hashtag me, has played in 240 games and just under 4,500 minutes. Pirtle has played in 478 games, that's twice as many games, in over 10,000 minutes, more than double the minutes. So he's played significantly more in his career because he stayed healthy, where Zach early in his career did not. So Pirtle, I think, is getting close to his ceiling, but Zach Collins being healthy and really finding a nice rhythm and chemistry with our Spurs, he might have a much higher ceiling than any of us anticipated, not just as a quality backup, but he is rounding himself into a legit starter. Anyway, let's take a look at the stats since both guys were traded. About the same minutes, same number of games. Pirtle is shooting better from the field overall. Most of Jakob's work is done in the paint. Actually, all of work is done in the paint, so you expect a high shooting percentage. But Zach does add that other dimension of being a three-point shooter, which Jakob was never going to give us as a San Antonio Spurs. This video is not to knock Pirtle anyway, but we got to compare the guy that's in the starting role with the guy that's no longer in the starting role, just to see if he is at least meeting those expectations. Jakob is a better defender than Zach. He's a little bigger, so I do think Zach, from bigger centers, can get pushed around just a little bit more. Jakob a little bit more rebounds. Zach a little more assists. Jakob a better shot blocker. The turnovers, that's one thing I think Zach needs to clean up on his game quite a bit. Zach is scoring a bit more. Zach's shooting threes, making free throws, so it's going to be very easy for him to score more points per game. So is Zach Collins an upgrade over Jakob Poeltl? Not necessarily. I think Jakob has a longer track record of success, so at this point, I'm not going to put Zach over Jakob. That would be, ridiculous to do. But I think offensively, he does bring more to us. I think defensively, Jakob brought more to us. Our defense has been abysmal with the Spurs. You look at the Hawks game, which was a great comeback, by the way. The defense was non-existent in the first half, and all of a sudden good in the second half. So you never know what you're going to get with this team. But I think as Zach continues to progress, I think he's going to have a much higher ceiling offensively. If he can at least get to where Jakob was defensively, that's definitely a starting center for us for the next 2, 3, or 4 years. Now, timeout. All that being said, Spurs fans, if we win the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, well, then Zach Collins, as much as I like what you've been doing, he's not starting. There's no chance of that, and next year will probably be Zach's last year as a San Antonio Spur. So, Spurs fans, again, let you know your thoughts on Zach lately. Is he your starting center for now, and you think, well, we can do better next year with somebody else? So you're obviously very hoping for Wemby. Let me know. And I'll close out with this, Spurs fans. I am back live. If you didn't see the community notes post, I will be live I'll be live for the Pelicans tomorrow and the Bucks Wednesday night. I'm going to call about 6 games to round up the year. I've really enjoyed watching the Spurs, and yeah, some of these losses have been very, very tough. The blown 29-point lead just drove me crazy last week. But there's a lot of things to be excited about, especially with the draft coming up and the million picks we got coming up over the next years. And with the San Antonio Spurs, it kind of reminds me of Cheers, the TV show. If any of you guys watch Cheers, Sam Malone, the owner of Cheers, always came back. And I feel like that's me with the San Antonio Spurs. Even when I take time off or go to do different projects, I tried the gaming channel for a little bit. For those of you that didn't know, I tried a Hulk channel. My heart wasn't into it. I tried for about a month on each, and eventually I just, I don't know. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and this is it. I made the decision over the last few days. I'm like, you know what? I take some time away from this channel, and I really want to work on growing this channel and putting some legit effort into it. Doing probably a lot of Victor Wembanyama coverage because, come on, even I'm on board now. After watching more video on him, I was like, I was kind of on the fence. If we had the number 1 pick, I'm all in and taking a chance. I'm extremely worried about the injury with his size, injury potential with his size, but man, the stuff he can do at 7'5" is just crazy. And if this kid can stay healthy, he is going to have one hell of a career. And I wouldn't mind seeing him in the silver black. It would be awesome. So I'm all aboard. Choo choo with that. I'll also revisit Kai Soto at some point, see what he's up to, and maybe do some draft speculation on him. That was fun to cover last year. But I really want to push Spurs content again on this channel with a few lives in there. And I do want to do a lot of draft coverage because that's just a lot of fun. And you can get the old hit machine going with that. Anyway, that's all I got. Zach, awesome. Stay healthy. Keep doing what you're doing. And, for the Spurs, let's get a few wins here and there, but not too many wins. Let's stay at the 3rd spot and right around there. And even while we're maybe losing some games here and there, play hard, show some growth, and be ready to go get them next year. And maybe, just maybe, like we do when David Robinson joined the team and when Tim Duncan joined the team, turn the beat around and be right back in the playoffs. Thank you all for watching, and as always, go Spurs, go!